Life is beautiful.
It really is.
Okay. Didn't happen. Hello.
Hi.
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 Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Did we miss anyone? Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back to Women in STEM. We're just same as it ever was. We're talking about RRR for the fourth,
Not final time.
not final time.
We'll continue to bring it up.
Yeah. At a certain point in your life, you realize that every path leads back to this movie.
That's so true.
Yeah.
We're really high energy today.
Yes.
And this is because
We just woke up and we have so much energy for the day, and it's not the afternoon and it's not snowing.
and it's not really, really warm and cozy inside.
Yeah. And we haven't just been playing with Lincoln Logs
For a while.
So don't even ask.
Nope.
That's not what happened.
Today, like my dear co-host said, we're going to be talking about RRR.
We all know her, we all love her.
That's correct. And if you don't, then fix yourself. Look deep within.
It's a problem that you need to turn inward, do some deep self-reflection. Yeah. Consider, am I the problem? And go from there. Yeah.
Because it's totally okay to not like movies if you're like, I don't know, it's kind of loud, it's kind of like a lot for me. That's okay. If you say, I don't like it because I can't tell any of the Indian guys apart,
then that's bad, and you should change your mind about that. Yeah. Yeah.
And we can cut that out because that was pretty targeted at one specific person.
No, let's leave it. Do you want to name him?
Hi, Grace from work.
I mean, does she watch these? Is she gonna care?
She doesn't usually care about other people, but the other people that we work with might watch these.
Perfect. And they'll know who you're talking about without even saying the name. Yeah.
Really
anyway,
good.
so it's like
the end.
This is the end. Goodbye. It's similar to the critique that you could have for pretty much any movie. It's like, it's okay if you don't like it,
but are you not liking it for the right reasons?
There are like distinctly wrong reasons not to like something. Namely, racism is the main one.
And also,
there are a few others.
If you're like, it just doesn't make any sense. It does make sense if you pay attention to it. And again, are not.
It's
on
a
your phone
pretty
for half
straightforward
Follow the
plot.
dialogue. Like,
there's not a lot of. It's not a convoluted narrative.
It's not super complex.
It's pretty simple. Where like, this man is an undercover cop trying to take down the system from the inside. And
but
this
we don't
man
know that until the second half.
Is trying, but at this point we know that.
Because
this is the end. You remember?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. And then this other man has had like a child from his tribe kidnapped and is trying to rescue her. And they come together and wow, look, they have the same goal in mind
the whole time
in different ways the whole time, and that's like pretty easy to follow. That's any movie with two main characters is like, oh, this one has this goal and this one has this goal. And sometimes will they work together?
Sometimes they're not. This time they happen to be the same, but through different paths. So
yeah. So it's really not that hard to follow.
No. I don't remember where we left off last time, and you can probably intercut like the clip of us ending.
Oh, that could be fun. Yeah. There is those like 2 seconds that feels like eternity where you're like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen
every single time?
What's gonna happen for the last 45 minutes of this movie when you just killed the main character? Like, what do we do now?
Everyone's spiraling. And every time we watch this movie with a new group of people, I love this is my favorite game in the world.
The reaction where the air is sucked out of the room.
It's always the same. Everyone reacts. There's always just the tiniest little gasp, and then just several heartbeats, and then oh my gosh. Yeah.
Are you seeing this?
It's perfect. It's so good.
Yeah. I think that's the end of Act 2.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was when you see the and then you're like, oh, he just killed that guy.
Yeah. Rom has been stabbed like 5 times throughout this movie. He's lived through every single one of them, but this is.
But if anything's gonna kill him, like it's gonna be that moment,
Beam.
and you think that it's happened, and then last second, the camera shifts and you see it's just next to him.
Even
but
after
Beam,
all
after
that.
all this, still couldn't kill Rom. That's where we left off. I'm pretty sure.
That feels right.
Yeah.
Like the beats feel correct.
Yeah. So then Act 3 is like now Rom has been imprisoned for going against Governor Scott, and Beam and Molly are not imprisoned. They're on the run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the British are closing in on them. They're very, very close to catching them.
Yeah. They have a really detailed map.
Yeah. It's amazing that they think they could find them. And it's amazing that they almost do. Say what you will about the British, but they know when to be efficient against one specific...
one man and a child.
One single man and a child. Their biggest threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Beam and Molly and company are hiding in like a kind of common inn, I guess. And they have no money to buy food, and all of the shops, like all the restrictions that the British have put in place, mean there's no rice to be found. There's no food that they can buy anywhere. And
even if there was, their faces are plastered everywhere that they're wanted, so they don't know who they can trust and who would turn them in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that the British come in to this a little house and say, everybody, we want your names and your home addresses right now. And surprise, Sita
the other one
is there. Yeah,
Whoa.
Sita's there. Rom's fiance.
And so she sees that Beam and Molly are in trouble and goes out to talk to the police officers and says, oh, I'm so glad you're here. We have smallpox. And then they're like, ah, and they freak out and leave because like
the British have
that would be bad. Yeah. So that's how they meet. And Beam is like, who has smallpox? Can I help them? And she's like, no, I was lying to protect you. And he's like, I was lying to get drugs. And he like has never told a lie in his life.
No, I don't think before he realized Rom was lying to him, I don't think he realized that people were capable physically of lying. What was that?
This was really emotional. Like he went undercover, like he was in disguise, and he had a fake name. And yet he can't determine when somebody has smallpox and when they're just trying to like not talk to the cops.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But it shows, I think it shows his character that like even if they had this like very deadly disease, he still would try to help them. Even though that's putting his own life in danger. So that's just like, interesting little tidbit about his personality. Anyway, and then we also get to learn Sita, like what she's like, because we don't get to see her a lot. Really only minor flashbacks as a child where she supports Rom and is able to convince the dad that like he's a good shot or whatever. And then we see her as an adult helping these people in need, and she doesn't know who they are, and she doesn't know why they're hiding from the police.
It could be for a valid reason.
She doesn't know. She's just saying, like, children shouldn't have to go hungry and be afraid, so I'm going to lie to protect this child.
Because she is not a narc.
You know, the number one quality that any person could have, really. Is to lie to the cops.
That's true. For 100% sexy and morally correct.
And that's a message from real doctors that you can trust.
Sita shares some of her food with the group and won't really accept any thanks from them because she's like, this is just kind of what should be done.
Yeah.
She's like, don't.
Like, I'm not a hero for just like giving a child a bowl of rice.
Yeah.
That's a child. Yeah.
And she's like, I'm here because my fiance is a police officer in Delhi. And everyone goes, but Beam goes for a different reason, because at the moment her matching necklace falls out of her dress, and he realizes,
exactly
dear,
which police officer in Delhi, and he's like, oh
boy,
I left him for dead.
as if that wasn't enough, she's like, oh no, don't worry, he's actually working undercover. And it's like, go ahead and just twist the knife on me. Yeah, okay,
so
cool.
then he realizes what had been going on the whole time. Because while he told Rum what his secret plan was, they weren't able to, there wasn't a back and forth there.
Yeah, so he had to learn from Sita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, that pained him a lot.
He realized from Sita that the thing that caused his change of heart was Beam.
Yeah.
Because Ram couldn't bear he turned his best friend in and realized, oh, this is tearing me apart. Can't do that. Gonna break him out.
And he had this huge struggle of like morality and like, is this thing really right if I have to sacrifice so many people in the process? And like, he's like, oh, maybe utilitarianism isn't the best, code of ethics or whatever. So there's that whole thing, and Sita relates that to Beam because she had this like letter that he wrote, and then she's like, and also I have this second letter where they're gonna execute him, and they asked me to pick up his body.
And the letter floats through the air and lands on Beam's chest as he's weeping, and he goes. The letter to the fiance.
Yeah. And so there's no symbolism or metaphor here at all. It doesn't mean anything that this letter is meant for his true love, and it flies onto Beam's chest. That's just how the wind blows.
It's meaningless.
It doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
And it doesn't mean anything either that Beam immediately is like, let me just leave Molly, this girl that I've sacrificed my life on several occasions to save. Let me just leave her here with you, and I will go and save your fiance,
my totally platonic best friend.
My totally, just this guy that I know, really.
Just a couple of guys
I would do this for anyone. I'll just go break into prison and find him and save him. Human caterpillar style, and they do that.
And they do.
They really do.
Because at this point, we've had enough conflict. It's time for just straight up victory.
Yeah.
Like, we've had,
the third act is like victory after victory after victory. Like,
no one wants to see a girl boss win, but we will win anyway.
That's Act 3.
So Beam is able to find Rom because they put him in solitary confinement under the ground by pounding their song into the ground.
He finds them by playing their song.
Which is how Rom told him he was in trouble.
It's ridiculous.
Whatever.
Again, it doesn't mean anything.
I'm just gonna stop this right here because how many times have we seen this movie? Thousands? I'm like, it's been too long since I've seen it. It's been all likelihood less than a month. But I'm like, man, what are we doing tonight?
So, where were we?
Chicken run? Prison break.
Prison.
They drop Rom into an oubliette that, like, instead of killing him, it's only like 3 feet deep.
And the thing about Rom is because the grind never stops,
he's
still working his arms. He can't. His legs are shattered. He can't use his legs anymore. But arms are so good. He's still gonna work those. Which means he can also like knock out their song in response to Beam, so they can locate each other. And then they find each other, and they're both weeping and stroking each other's faces. And again, that's fine.
That's what anyone would do under the circumstances, even if he was saving a stranger, because he would.
He would.
Beam would do
and
this
he
for
did.
anyone.
That's how they met.
That's true. It's the same level of affection, no matter what.
Yeah. And so they're, crying, and Rom is just saying his name over and over and over again, while Beam is just crying out apologies. And there's nothing even to forgive. Rom has never even held it against him. There's never been any kind of resentment there. So Beam is trying to apologize
to me.
Yeah.
Like, I was wrong. Why would you apologize to me? But they don't have time for that.
They don't. No.
They have to escape.
You gotta get out of there. And then, after this, he's like, wait, who sent you? And then he's like, oh, Sita. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, what do they do next?
He just pulls the iron bars out of the ground and releases Rom from the earth. And then, because he can't walk, because his legs are shattered, because of the oubliette that's only 3 feet deep, crush his knees or whatever.
Yeah.
He just sits on Beam's back, which you may recall in their friendship montage, we said that every shot is foreshadowing. Interesting. They've practiced this before.
They have. Just in a really casual, whatever kind of way, but now it's serious.
Yeah.
Now they've really got to like kick it into gear.
And they can, and they do.
And they do.
Immediately. As if they've been doing this their whole lives.
Because again, this is the final bit of the show, and there are no more like setbacks allowed.
Yeah. We just stay winning for the next 45 minutes.
So they, they're drop kicking British soldiers, whatever, it's no big deal. Imagine these poor British soldiers just doing their job, it's no big deal, and then all of a sudden this 14-foot tall creature is like coming out of the darkness at you. They never stood a chance. Anyway, Rom gets his hands on some guns, which Beam like reloads for him, and they fly over the wall.
It's so awesome.
It's so good. We're never going to be able to do it justice.
The first time I watched it, like you can see everything happening just before it happens, and so then you get like so excited. And I was like, this is the coolest movie I've ever seen. This is like when you're like playing with a sibling or a friend, and you're like, oh yeah, and then this happens, and you just have to keep escalating the situation to make it as cool and heroic as possible. Like I was like, oh, if I were playing that game, I would be like, they sit on top of his shoulders and then the human caterpillar, right? And then they do it like immediately after you think that, and it's so epic every time. Yeah. Like every time I watch this movie, I'm like, oh yes, the prison break scene. Like
it never gets old.
It's so exciting every time.
Yeah. The crazy thing about this movie, and I don't know how they did it, is because it starts out so strong, and every single scene is better than the one before it. But then you restart it, and you're like, well, this is better than the last scene, because we're just getting started. Yeah. If this is where it starts, where could it possibly go? And it's like the what's that staircase that I'm thinking of? It's just the same one, but it goes up forever.
Oh.
They had it in Inception. Yeah.
It's like the staircase from Inception.
It's like the staircase from Inception.
I can't believe they built the staircase from Inception in real life.
They did.
For this movie.
It's RRR is the Inception staircase of movies. Because it's just, every single time, it's better than you remember it being, and better than you expect, and you end feeling, oh, okay, that's the most fun I've ever had in my life. Yeah. Every time.
It's
exhilarating. It never...
Yeah.
What's this word? De-escalates. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm having a really hard time today.
For no reason. Again, we just got here. We're high energy.
We're fresh.
No such thing as wasting time in this house. Or just playing with Lincoln Logs. Which is not a waste of time.
Nope.
To be clear. Anyway, I think it's a good, it shows like how these two people, even though they kind of had different modes of going about their goal, once they realize that they have the same goal, they're unstoppable.
Yes.
And that's, again, not a metaphor. It's not symbolic for anything. It's just only true of these two guys and nobody else in the world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Again, if you ever try to look further into, like, this movie, you're going to hit a brick wall. Much like that man runs into the brick wall of Rom.
Yeah.
If you remember from earlier in the movie. But, so Beam escapes into the woods with Rom on his back, and he's like, okay, we got to get you fixed up, because that was badass, but we got to change up the strat. We offer change the strategy. We offer change the strategy. It's Tuesday, in it, and we offer change the strategy.
You can take on.
Shout out to our favorite character in this movie, random British soldier. My heart goes out to you.
That's a weird thing to do.
But so Beam magically fixes Rom's shattered legs, and don't ask questions about how. He uses herbs, and that's it.
And he makes, like, not even a splint. It's just a cloth wrap. And it works, okay? And this is, again, and it's like, if you were brainstorming, like, if I was in this situation, what could I possibly do? You would do that, and it would work, and because you're the hero.
Yes. It's magic.
Yeah.
It's not even magic. It's just sheer willpower.
That's just how it works. This is just the way that these are the laws of physics in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you're playing out with like the neighborhood kids and somebody like falls and hurts their arm and you're like, somebody get some leaves. And it's like, what are you gonna do with leaves? You're 10. But it works. This is the mindset of like, whatever I have, I'm gonna use and it will work.
Yeah. And so he also gives him a makeover, which is really nice and super sweet.
It's payback for the party, you know, now they're even.
Yeah. It's super cute.
Yeah.
Hi. We just decided we're gonna build a house in Oregon out of Tim's chip bags.
I mean, it's hard to like. You just have to watch these scenes.
Just watch it.
It's not fun to hear somebody explain it, and even if it is, it's 20 times more fun to see it unfold on the screen and everything that you're like, oh, it would be epic if that happened. It does. Will happen.
It does. And if it doesn't, then something cooler happens.
Yeah. This is even better than I would have imagined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had so many people say to me, like, I cannot overhype this movie. I've tried. I've tried to tell people this. I mean, it's going to change who you are. And it's gonna be the best movie you've ever seen, and you're not gonna believe it. And they never believe me when I'm telling them this. And then after we watch the movie, they're like, "Okay,
fine. Yeah. It was exhilarating, and I do have a more positive worldview now. Fine, you got
whatever." Me. Yeah,
as if it even matters.
It's better as high as your expectations are. They're not high enough, and it's better than you could possibly imagine. It's more exciting than the moon pod is comfortable.
Did you see that my socks match the rest of my outfit?
Oh, they totally do. That's lovely.
Thank you.
That's really nice. I'm not wearing socks. Well, no one can see them.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Don't look. Freak.
If I think you're trying to sneak a peek at my little peepers.
Then what?
Sneak a peek with your little peepers at my toes. I don't know. I'll just be really upset, and I don't think you should do that.
No, it's just kind of like not very nice, and it's kind of weird.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if there's much else to say about it. It's the greatest movie I've ever seen. I still have so much fun watching it. And it's fun to watch it for the first time. It's fun to be with somebody else as they watch it for the first time. Yeah. It's fun to be with somebody else as you both watch it repeatedly. It doesn't matter. Yep. We've done all of those. It's just so good. Yeah. There's so many fun things that you notice. On repeat viewings, you can watch different... The horse and the motorcycle, extras. The fire in the water, all of these things come back multiple times throughout the movie, and every single time you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that one before. Yeah. It's always new, and it's always fun. The music. Have we talked about the music? Probably. It's hard to remember. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Mm-hmm. It's like textbook soundtrack design, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think in our Labyrinth video we talked about how David Bowie wrote the soundtrack to be kind of dreamlike and to accompany the movie without really being what a musical soundtrack is, without really describing it. It's kind of ethereal. It's not very specific. You can listen to the music without feeling like, oh, I'm watching Labyrinth. Or I have to, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like Under the Sea, which, doesn't make sense in any context outside the context of the movie. Yes. If you're singing the song, then it's like, oh, that's the song from The Little Mermaid. Yes, exactly. And, the Labyrinth version of doing things is fantastic because David Bowie did it and he was perfect. And there's no other way to do things, really, except for also when you do it the RRR way, which is to describe everything that's happening in such excruciating detail. And it rips! It's so good. Their friendship montage song, the whole time is they're really good buddies, but I bet something's... What if something tragic would happen? Yeah. How would they react? There's going to be some sort of twist of fate and maybe it leads to a violent end? I don't know. Who knows? Best friends. Will it end in bloodshed? Ooh. Yeah. Guess we have to wait to find out. It's so good. It's so fun. It's really good.
There's a lot of like Greek chorus stuff happening there.
That's exactly how it feels. Yeah, the Greek chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the first 3 episodes where we analyzed this movie, we've talked a lot about what different things symbolize and like the characterization of everyone. So at this point, there's not a lot to really analyze that we haven't already said.
Yeah.
So we're probably good. I will say that the greatest moment, like the greatest like 2 shots back to back ever, is when Governor Scott's wife, Lady Buxton, because she has a last name.
Yeah, his name's not Governor Scott.
Is
Governor
dead,
Scott
and
Buxton.
the blood like drips down her finger.
Yeah.
And then also
on the tattoo of.
Yeah. And then the other one is when they shoot Governor Scott and his blood splats against the flag that says the sun never sets in the British Empire. And you're like, once again, heavy-handed symbolism never hurt me. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a revolution.
Yeah.
Today. Like, that's how it feels.
Yeah. Real quick, this is not really exactly related to this, but I saw a tweet the other day that was like, what if Mad Max Fury Road and, well, I guess not just Fury Road, but what if Mad Max and the Hunger Games were set in the same universe and just handled the apocalypse in very different ways? And I thought just now that what if this is in the same universe as V for Vendetta and the British also just handled it in a very different way. All of them were like doing crazy whacked out stuff, but just, very separately.
That could work, because they're all kind of supposed to be like retellings of historical events. Like, what if it had happened a little bit this way instead? So I think I like that it's like not our universe, but it's like just right next to our reality. They can all exist in there. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Much to ponder. Drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think about that. As always, thank you for listening. Send best wishes to Bestie Allison, who is napping right now.
She's fine. She's just napping.
She's just sleepy. Yeah.
Send a little prayer anyway.
I hope that she has good dreams. And we'll see you all next time.